Hey guys, it's your girl Sammy here, back at it again with another video, and in today's video, I am finally going to be showing you how I make my Roblox thumbnails. This has been highly requested, so I thought, why not just get this video over with and show you how I make my Roblox thumbnails. So the first step is you're going to want to go on Google and type in picmonkey. And then once you've done that, it's usually supposed to be the first one that pops up. It's called Picmonkey Photo Editor and Graphic Designer. And then you're just going to click on that. So you can actually start a free trial on Picmonkey, which I used to do, but now I don't do it. Because obviously, since it's a free trial, it only lasts a couple of days. So I just recommend going over here to edit a photo. And this is basically just going to get you started and you don't have to pay. It's totally free. And I'll put the link to this site, Picmonkey, in the description down below. So as I said, you're going to click on edit a photo and then it'll just load a bit. The monkey will do a little wink. So once Picmonkey is opened, it should look like this. If not, let me know and I could try to help you out. And there's so many different things on Picmonkey that I just find out new things every day. And Picmonkey is so amazing. Again, it's free, so I really recommend it. But the first thing you're going to want to do is go to Open New. Now the reason you want to go to Open New is because obviously you want a background. If you don't already have a background that you want for your video, just go to your browser or Google or whatever you have and type in maybe, I don't know, whatever you want the background of your video to be. So let's say you want it to be aesthetic maybe. You can type in that. And aesthetic is basically a bunch of cute little backgrounds and they're really nice. There's so many really cute aesthetic backgrounds that you can pick out of. Like this one over here is really cute. If you want to save it, all you have to simply do is right click and go down to save image. And then something will pop up and then all you're going to want to do is save. It'll either save to a file or your desktop. I usually like to save it to my desktop because I could find it easier and quicker. And then once you finally got your background, head back onto Picmonkey. Okay, so now that we're back on Picmonkey, now you can finally insert your background into Picmonkey. So again, go to Open New up here in the top left corner, and then go to Computer or Hub or whatever you use. Usually you're supposed to go to Computer, so just click on that. Wherever you save that picture to, make sure to go to that file and get that picture out of the file and then just click Open. In this case, I saved it to my desktop, so I'm just going to go over to this. I'm just going to use this background for the video purpose, so we're just going to click on Open. So once you actually have your background, the first thing I recommend that you do, this is actually important, so make sure that you're paying attention to this when you make your thumbnails. I don't know if it's different on mobile, but it should be the same. I don't even know if you can get Picmonkey on mobile, because I'm on PC, so I don't know if it's different on mobile. And a whole bunch of different options will be over here on the left. So the first thing you're going to want to click is Crop. I already have the thumbnail size selected because I'm on Picmonkey so much that it just recognizes that I use this size, so it kind of already has it saved. So basically the first thing you're going to want to do is check this box Scale Photo to make sure that it doesn't mess up any of the numbers, because sometimes when you're trying to write, it'll like switch around the numbers. It does that sometimes not, I don't know. But just make sure that you have the box checked. So make sure that you have this size 1280 by 720p. Something I also forgot to do is if you go to Crop and then Scale Photo, if you want to expand the image or make it shorter, it doesn't change the actual size, so you're fine for that. But basically what I like to do is I just like to pick you know, what section of the photo I like. So I definitely want this plant in it, so I'm just gonna head over here and I think it looks good like this. If you want the entire image selected, then just pull one corner and then go to apply. There's also one other thing that is optional. You don't have to do this, but if you go over to this wand, which is effects, and you scroll down, sorry, it's just loading a bit. If you scroll down, you'll see an option over here that says soften. Now, many people think that you can't fade on Picmonkey, but you actually can. There's a fade option right here, and there's a softness. Now, I'm going to show you how to fade. So what I like to do is I like to turn soften all the way up to 100 and fade all the way down to 0, and that's what fades your image. Now, for this specific thumbnail, I'm going to fade it. All you have to do is click apply, and then it's faded and it won't change. You can also go back. You have a redo button if you want to go back and you don't like the way it looks. You can just play around with that and then you could go back and forth with it. You can keep going over to soften and changing it and clicking apply. If you want it to be like a little bit more faded, you can do that, and then you could also just keep going back and, you know, fixing it to your liking. But that's just basically how you fade. Again, just go to soften and you could play around. It doesn't have to be 100, but that's usually just what I do. I learned how to do this from a tutorial as well. But there's so many other things that I learned how to do on my own. So once you're done with the fade, you're just going to click apply. Now I actually faded it a little bit more, so I'm going to go back because I kind of want the image to show. There's so many different effects that you can play around with. I usually don't play around with the effects because I don't really like any of them. Like for example, if you click on this one, you could change the effect, which is pretty cool. You could fade it, and it's really cool. So some of these effects are cool. I don't usually use effects, as I said. These effects are especially good for edits, so if you like to do edits, this is definitely for you. You can also add shapes. You can do like stars and hearts and a whole bunch of these things, and they're really cool. And not only that, if you go over to this is the basic edits where we started off with our background. But basically, if you go over to colors, this is specifically for the background. You could turn up the saturation. You can literally make it brighter. You can also like turn the saturation down, which will make the image a little bit more dim and not as bright. And then for temperature, I don't really play around with that. This just makes it blue. And then this makes it like brighter. It's kind of like saturation, but not really. When you think of it, it's kind of like cold and then hot. So that's how I think of temperature, but you can just play around with that however you like, but I usually don't play around with that. Let's get to actually adding your Roblox character. If you don't have a Roblox character, you can just skip past this part and go on to the next part of the video, but this is specifically for people that like to render their Roblox characters or people that just like to put their Roblox characters in their thumbnails. So make sure that your Roblox character is transparent. So if you don't know what that means, it just basically means that there's no background, it's just a solid Roblox character. So let me actually just show you how to do that instead of talking. So you're gonna go over to this butterfly, which is overlays, and then there's a whole bunch of other overlays that you can add. These are the picmonkey ones. So you want to add your own overlay. So if you're adding your own Roblox character, go to add your own, and then my computer. And then once you've done that, wherever you have your Roblox characters stored, maybe you have it stored to a specific file, make sure that you go to that file specifically, and then open that, and then get whatever Roblox character you want. As you guys can see, I have a file over here named Render Blender. These are where I keep all of my rendered Roblox characters. I'm just going to select this first one and then click on open, and then your character should pop up on the screen. So you can also play around with the size of the actual background. I don't know how to explain it, but you can just like make it smaller, like so it's in the distance. I usually like to keep it at 75 or even 90. That's like the perfect size for me. This overlay tab will open with a bunch of different things that you can do. So this color palette over here is really cool. You can change the color of your Roblox character. If you want to make your thumbnail like pop out, maybe you can put a little bit of a filter on it or whatever, but I just leave it at nothing. I just leave it at black because that's the original color. Over here is a little selector. I don't know how to explain it, but basically if you click on this rectangle over here and you select a color from anywhere, so let's say I want a specific color but I can't find it from the color palette, all you need to do is get this little select tool button, click on it, and then go over to whatever color you want. Let's say I want this pink on the screen, let's say I want this blue, it'll change it to literally anything. Let's say I even want it to be white, it'll literally just make the whole image white. So basically, I think you guys get what I mean. And that's basically what the selector does. And then fade, you could fade your image to make it look like it's slowly disappearing. And then blend modes. This is a really cool option. You can do so many different things on here. Again, I usually don't play around with any of these effects just because I already like the way that my Roblox character looks. So I just leave it on normal. And then obviously if you click delete, just deletes your Roblox character. If you want to get it back, just go to this arrow and ba-boom, it's back. And then this, you can change the angle of your Roblox character, which looks really funny. And then this will just make it upside down. But again, you can make like, I don't know, if you want it upside down, I guess you can. But it looks pretty normal when it's like this, so I just leave it like that. And then replace image, I actually never used that before. But that's basically all for the overlay, like your Roblox character overlay. You can also obviously resize it. I actually just started making my Roblox characters like a little bit more bigger because I want it to stand out in the thumbnail. So since I usually typically don't show my whole Roblox character body, I just like stopped it at the torso and the arms because I don't really care about that part. If you don't want it to be randomly levitating, as you guys can see, it looks really weird like that, you could just resize it, and then there you go, it's not levitating anymore, and then it'll be like that. And then that's basically what I do. And then there you go, there's your Roblox character. Now we're going to move on to the next thing, which I love to play around with this. I use this for basically every thumbnail because I don't really like the face on my Roblox character. It's kind of basic and boring. You can actually do this before you render your Roblox character, but I don't have time for that. So I just do it the easy way. So first thing you're going to want to do is head over to Google, obviously. So once you're on Google, all you have to do is type in Roblox faces PNG. If you want the face to go straight onto your Roblox character with no random background, then make sure that you type in PNG after everything because it'll make it transparent. And transparent just means that there's no background behind it and you could just plop it onto your Roblox character whenever you want. So a face that I typically like to use is this super happy face because it's so cute, and I just recently found one that's purple, so I think I'll actually use it for this video since the background is quite purple. And there's just so many other ones. There's this prankster face, there's so many really cute ones, there's the freckled cheeks, there's so many really cute ones. We also got a Pennywise face. It's not as cute, but as you guys can see, even there's like some random faces that aren't Roblox. But again, make sure that you type in PNG. You know it's PNG when it has like these white and gray squares, and if it's super big, like if the white and gray squares are super big, sometimes it won't come out PNG, so just make sure that they're pretty small and then you should be good. And I also love this face over here. This is literally the story of my life. Like when somebody doesn't make sense and you're like, huh? This is literally me. But anyways, we're getting a little bit too carried away. So once you search through and find the face that you like, go back onto picmonkey. Now obviously if you go over to add your own in computer, wherever you saved it to, it should be there. So I'm just going to go to desktop. I actually just saved this face for an example. So if you just open this, it's PNG, so it's on top of your image. As I said, there's no background, it's just the face. But if you add it on top of your Roblox character, it looks a little bit weird because your original face is still there. So if you want to put the actual face on your Roblox character without your original face, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So just go ahead and delete the face that you added. And then you're going to head over to this effects wand over here and then scroll all the way down. And then you'll see this draw option. Obviously you're going to want to click on draw, and then the first thing you want to do is you want to go over to this selector over here. It says click any part of the photo to choose that color for your background. I'm actually going to show you guys how to outline your Roblox character before I show you how to draw on the face because I missed a very important step for the drawing portion. So let me just show you how to outline. I like to go for either white because that definitely makes your Roblox character pop out. I like to go for just a solid white, and then I turn the hardness all the way down to 0 because the hardness looks like this. This is what the brush for hardness looks like, but if you have hardness up at 100, it just looks like a solid white. So you guys can obviously see the difference. So I'm actually just going to delete that by pressing the arrow. And then if you want the hardness at 100, you can play around with that. This is just what it looks like if you want to outline your Roblox character. In my opinion, it doesn't look the best when it's on 100. It's totally up to you. That's just what I choose to do, and that's my opinion. I just like the hardness at 0. I think it looks a lot better, and if you make a mistake, it's not as noticeable. You can choose any color out of the color palette that you want. So let's say you want green or pink. Literally, it'll make it any color. We're gonna go back to white because that's the color that I want to use. I feel like white is the basic color for outlining. So you don't have to worry about your brush size. I can literally make it the biggest brush size and it won't really matter. Obviously don't make it 300. I feel like that's a little bit too much. I usually like to stick with 115. That's like the perfect size for me. And you're probably wondering, I'm trying to draw and it's not drawing on my Roblox character. But I'll save that part for later. There's a step that you have to do before you can actually draw over overlays. You can't draw on top of overlays unless you do one other step. So that's why I'm going to show you how to outline first. So basically to outline, you're just going to start at any random part of the Roblox character's body, and I usually like to start on the left side of the head. I don't know why, but I just like to do that. And then you're probably going to be like, oh no, if I do that it's going to go on my character's head. But nope, it's not going to go on the face. It only selects the outer portion of the brush. I don't know how to explain it. You definitely will get used to it once you start using picmonkey. It's kind of hard to explain, so I'm sorry if this tutorial isn't that good. Also keep in mind this is my first tutorial, so if it's really bad, I'm sorry. If I'm talking a lot, I'm sorry, but I just want to go over all the basics. The reason I like to turn my hardness down to 0 is because it gives it a more glowy look. and I really like that glow because I don't like when it's a solid white or whatever color. I don't like when it's a solid pink or blue, especially if you have a really large brush size. It looks really weird in my opinion, but again, that's just my opinion. That's what I like to do. So just play around with that. It may look a little bit weird because it looks like I'm drawing on top, but you guys will get used to it. I feel like this is way easier on Photoshop. Like, I feel like there's obviously an easier way that you can do this on Photoshop, but I don't have Photoshop right now. I obviously just use what I have, which is picmonkey, and picmonkey is honestly amazing. So you can even just click on it and it'll still do it. You don't even have to actually draw with your mouse. You could literally just click on it and it'll work just as good. So I actually usually like to click. Like, that's my strategy. I just like to click, and honestly, just gets the job done. So once you have the outline that you like, make sure that you click apply over here. I'm not done yet. I just want to make it a little bit more glowy because in certain spots it's a little bit less glowy and kind of faded, so I want to make it the perfect proportions. You can zoom out to see how it would look like. I actually kind of like it like this, so I'm just going to click apply, and now I'm finally going to show you what you've all been waiting for. Well, at least I think you've all been waiting for this, but basically I'm going to show you how to draw on your Roblox character's face. So this is the step that I wanted to show you guys, but I actually forgot before doing this, which is why I showed you how to outline first. But make sure that you outline your Roblox character before you draw on the face. I really highly recommend that, because if not, you won't be able to actually highlight using the hardness tool if you turn it all the way down to 0. If you try to do an outline after you've already done this step, then it won't work. So make sure that you outline before you add the face, but it's honestly up to you guys. I mean, you don't have to follow this step, but I'm honestly just telling you what I know myself. So then you're gonna head over to this layers palette over here, and then the only thing that will actually be in this palette is whatever overlay you added. So I only have one overlay, as you guys can see, and it's just my Roblox character. Now let me just show you guys, if you move your Roblox character, it'll look really, really messy, and you're probably gonna be like, why is it moving around? Oh no, I just messed it up. No, you didn't mess it up. All you have to do is literally just go back, and there you go. You can play around with it. You can move it around if you don't really like the way that it looks, but I'm going to show you why it's moving around and how you can stop it from moving so that it's just one image. So I'm just going to go back so that it was originally how it was when I put the outline, and then you're going to head over to this. Now this is the flatten image, but with this picmonkey feature, it allows you to flatten the actual image. So if you just click on that, it'll say combined. So it combines the background and the overlay. So now, as you guys can see, my Roblox character isn't here. I can't click on it anymore. I can't move it around. I literally can't do anything. If you don't like that option and you want to actually move around your Roblox character, obviously just go back. I do recommend that if you do go to flatten image, make sure that you like the way that your Roblox character looks, or your overlays, the way that it's positioned and everything. And make sure you like the size of your Roblox character. Make sure you like the way that everything looks before putting the flatten image option. Now I can finally show you how to change your Roblox character's face. So this is a really, really cool option that I love to use, because let's be real, sometimes it gets boring using the same face for your thumbnail. And I just want to switch it up sometimes, and one face that I usually like to use is the super happy face. So before you actually add the face on, you're going to go head over to the draw option again, and then now you can click on the selector tool and then select on any part of your face. Make sure that it's your skin color, so make sure that you don't select on green or anything like that. Make sure it's your skin color. So in this case, this is my skin color. You're just going to select on that, and now you can actually draw on top of your face. Before we couldn't do that because we didn't have the flatten option on. So if you want to draw on an overlay, you can't do that without turning on the flatten image option. So make sure that you do that, and now we can actually draw on our Roblox character's face. So I'm just going to cover the original face so that when I put the other Roblox face on, it won't look weird and it won't look like the original face is just behind it. So I usually just like to cover everything. If you go over to hardness, I feel like this is a really cool tool because it kind of looks a little bit more natural, but you just have to keep clicking, and I don't really like that option, and it also leaves a random circle, so I don't recommend you do that. So I'm just going to keep going back because I clicked that quite a few times, and I'm going to go back up to 100 because that's what I usually use. And then just fill it in, just draw your way around, and make sure that there's no part of your original face poking out, because it will look weird, I'm telling you. It will look really weird once you put the other face that you want on top. It will look really weird. So I just recommend covering every part of your original face up. There's a little bit of my mask showing over here, so let's just cover that. Also for this part, you see how it's kind of dotted? Just make sure that you draw and it'll make a straight line. So it's kind of still dotted, but whatever. This is just for the video purpose. You could like perfect it if you want, which is what I usually do. But there you go, that's how it looks like. If you zoom out, it's not noticeable at all. From close, it might be noticeable, and then once you like the way that it looks, make sure that you like this, just go to apply. So now the fun part, you can actually finally add the face to the face. I know that doesn't really make sense, but you can finally add the face that you want on top of your Roblox character. So let's say you want, I'm actually going to go over to images because this is where all of my Roblox faces are. So as you guys can see, I actually have quite a lot. I don't even use half of these. The only one that I really use is the super happy face. So the one that I'm going to go for this video is the super happy face because I literally love that face. But literally all you have to do is drag it over to your face and there you go. It's there. And it looks awesome. But if you zoom out, as you guys can see, the face kind of looks stretched, and you can make it smaller obviously, but it still looks really weird to me. So what I like to do is I like to start off with the eyes. I always usually start off with the eyes, just like if you're drawing a picture. So anytime you have an overlay, it'll always pop up on any side, usually on the right side. This only pops up when you add an overlay. So if I were to delete this, for example, the overlay goes away because it's not there anymore. But we do want that overlay, so we're gonna add that back. And then just click on it and boom, it's there. So we're going to go to eraser. I usually like to make the eraser size 100 because it's so much easier. And then I just erase every part of the face except for the eyes because I just want to start off with the eyes. And again, this is completely optional. This is just what I like to do because I'm super picky and I don't like when the face looks super stretched out. I just feel like it looks a little bit weird, but that's just my preference. That's my opinion. Now that you have one part of your face, so let's say it's the mouth, then you're going to want to stretch it out to whatever size that you want. So for example, I want it like this. This is actually a really good size. First try and it looks really good. So I like that size. So then you're going to head back over to overlays, my computer, and get that same image. And then you're going to repeat the same step that you did, except you're going to erase the eyes instead. And now you're going to go with the mouth. You can do this in whatever order. This is just the order that I like to do. Let me just erase that a little bit more. And then there you go. So now it doesn't look as stretched out. And I feel like it just looks so much like cuter, I feel like, when it's not as stretched out. You could also like turn it around like that, which kind of looks like, I don't know, it kind of looks weird like that. But you could switch it around if you like. That's totally up to you. But I usually don't do that. I just leave it like this. And then I think that looks pretty good. And then last, the cheeks, the last and final part of the face. The cute little pink cheeks is the last thing that we need to finish off the face. So now we're going to erase the mouth and the eyes. Hopefully you're following along and you understand what I'm saying, because if not, I'm sorry. I'm really bad at tutorials. So now that you have the face, now you're probably wanting to add the text. So just go over to this text button over here. There should be 2 T's for text. Picmonkey does tend to add some new text, and these are all of the default texts, like the ones that Picmonkey just has for you. And you could choose out of all of them. They're all free to use Picmonkey fonts, so you can choose any one that you want. Maybe if you want like School Bell or something, just click on add text and then click on the font that you like. I'm gonna type Roblox, and then there you go. There's your little font over here. You could resize it, obviously. And then you could literally pick any font that you want. Like, there's so many different ones. If you don't really like the Picmonkey fonts, then you could just go over to yours, and this will basically load in all of your fonts that you downloaded. I really recommend a site called defont.com. This is where I got all my fonts from, and basically these are all of your fonts. Some of these fonts are like already on your computer, so some of them you probably didn't even download, they're just on your computer. And so these are all of your computer fonts that were originally there and all of your downloaded fonts. So here's one right here. This is adorable, and it's literally called adorable. But this one is really cute and I like it. And then one that I've been using a lot, I forgot what it's called. Oh, it's called Cartoonist. So if you just type in, I'm just gonna type in car, it's right here. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but I love this font. Like, literally, this is my new favorite font right now. It's just so basic. I'm literally so obsessed with this font. I don't know why. It's just so simple. The simplest fonts honestly just amaze me. Also, if you want to add the Roblox font, it's super easy. I actually don't remember the exact way that I got it, but there's a download for it. You could just search up a tutorial. There's so many tutorials on YouTube that you can check out. So if you just go to search and type in Roblox, I actually have the 2017 version. I don't know if there's an updated version, but they all look the same to me. And then just write Roblox, obviously, and there you go. You got the Roblox font over here. To make it actually look like the Roblox font, you can go over and change it to red. And I also forgot to mention, if you guys want like an outline on your text, just go over to effects, and then under type it'll say none, but if you just click it, there's drop shadow, knockout, and inner shadow. This isn't really an outline, but more of like a 3D effect. And then knockout looks like this, which is pretty cool. I actually never used this. And then inner shadow is basically on the outside of it. So if you actually want like maybe like a white outline, which is usually what I go for, you can select any color that you want. As you guys can see, it's changing the outline color, but I like to go with the white because it's just the most solid color. So this is what I do. You guys don't have to follow this. If you like the way that it looks already, then you could just leave it like that and put it anywhere on your Roblox thumbnail. But what I like to do is I actually like to put distance on 0, and then angle I leave, fade I leave. Fade basically makes it look originally like how it was without the outline. So I don't play around with fade. Intensity I put all the way up to 100. Now you may already notice that there's already an outline, so you don't really need to do anything. This is also optional, but horizontal blur. This doesn't actually blur it, but it makes the lines thicker. And so basically horizontal blur kind of makes it go like, I don't know how to explain it. This is like the thickness of it. And then vertical blur just makes the on top layer kind of thicker as well. I'm really bad at explaining things, so I'm sorry if that literally made no sense, but that's basically how I do it. And once you're done playing around with that, you can also go back to options. You could change the color of it. I actually kind of want to make this one pink, because why not? Or you can also go to the select tool and select the color. If you want to add any other text to your video, just go to this add text button. As you guys can see, there's a bunch of text because I keep adding different ones. But if you just go to add text, and then it'll just say type your text here, and then you're just going to click on it. And then sometimes I double click because it doesn't work the first time, but you're just going to want to click or double click on it, and then just write whatever you want. I think I'm going to write Sammy. So I'm just going to write Sammy, and then there you go. So you could just literally add whatever text you want. Again, you could change the color of the text. If you want to add like a bunch of different text, just click on this add text button, and then there you go. You could add like a bunch of different text. Stay tuned for a part 2 because I feel like I didn't explain that much in this video, but the basics. Please make sure that if you have any questions about picmonkey to comment down below on this video, because in the part 2 then I can get through all of your questions. This has been such a recommended video, so I'm really happy that I finally got to make it, and I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye guys!